that I got this correct, okay? So, earlier, if you're hearing this, I'm making sure you hear this. I just made a video. It was like 45 minutes long. But the crazy thing about it is that I was noticing you couldn't hear a damn word I was saying. So I'm checking to see if this is right this time. I was noticing you couldn't hear a damn word I was saying. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Okay, cool. So welcome to the channel, guys. I started off this channel primarily as a kill streak clip for Modern Warfare 2, all my little crazy stunts I was doing, messing around and stuff. You know, I've been a Call of Duty player just as, for a long time, nowhere near as long as a Diablo player. You know, I'm from the 97 group, back when it was on PlayStation 1 and computer and whatnot. But I can tell you this, that with this game, I have noticed a lot of newcomers to the franchise, which this particular one in the series is very good for newcomers. But the thing you lose when you're coming to this one for the first time and not have played the other ones, you lose the knowledge of how things run. And the other ones ran a little bit differently, which I'm sure a lot of people are, after they bought this one, if they liked it, they went back and bought the other ones. Which, yeah, you can go back and play the other ones, but after you play this one, you're going to kind of get spoiled by the dungeons and stuff, things that us older players used to complain about. Oh, I want to do more dungeons, there's not enough things going on, and now we got this one, which is, in my piece, a freaking masterpiece. And the other ones, 3, I liked 3. A lot of people didn't like 3, but I did like 3. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool. That's, it's whatever. But this game in particular is not like Call of Duty. You can't just jump in and start playing, and, it doesn't take you just slapping armor and skills together, and it doesn't take that very well. This game will eat you alive, especially in the higher tier levels, if you're not paying attention, reading your aspects, reading your armor, and reading your skill, and learning how to pair your skill with your aspects on your armor, and, all around just making a well-rounded warrior. But I rock Necromancer Minion class, and we are on the hunt for Butcher for his lack of fucking disrespect towards me yesterday, because I caught him early in the morning, yesterday morning. He beat me down on World Tier 3, first time running into him. Then he decides to pop out on me again at another dungeon, close to the one I found him in earlier that morning. He popped out on me again, which there's live video of it. He popped out on me after I'd done cleared a big section of the dungeon, pretty much rounding towards the end of the dungeon. He comes out with nothing else, no other enemies coming around to get me, so not a whole lot of corpses dropping on the ground to even the odds, and I'm having to run in circles to get the hell away from those crazy ass attacks that he has. And if you've ran into the Butcher, he is not one to trifle with, especially in the higher levels. You need to be aware, and you need to make sure that you have the right weapons and equipment and the right amount of damage and everything like that, and you'll be able to beat him. I almost had him yesterday morning. It was like less than a quarter of a health left, but as we all know, he has those crazy little moves that can knock you back, bring you back to him. Then after he brings you back to him, he slaps you, stuns you, and then turns around and hits you with a 2-piece meat cleaver. You know what I mean? That's just Butcher for you. He was a difficult one in number 2. He's a difficult one now. But just, he's not a main story boss. He is a rando boss that pops up. Doesn't matter where he is, he pops up. You could be walking through a field, and he comes out of the corner of the field and starts attacking you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to do the Necro. I'm going to play this dungeon out real quick. And then I'm going to show y'all the Necromancer build that I'm using, which if you can see, dude, like I can go through hordes of enemies pretty quickly with the Necromancer build. And I know a lot of people don't like the Necromancer build or find it to be cheap or whatever. Look, man, if you want to go through all that tedious bullcrap of running around and, you know, taking everything out on your own, be my guest. You know what I'm saying? To each their own. You know, I've met people that know how to use those damn other ones and use them well, just as well as I use a Necromancer. But, dude, you can't hate on the Necromancer. Just like there's not very many characters in these games you can hate on. All of them equally have a good purpose. There's no, in my opinion, dude, and like I said, I've played this since '97 when it first come out. There is no real best class. It's really what you can get down and understand, and what class better suits you as a player. You know what I'm saying? I like the Necromancer, always have, ever since I first ran into him. Now, yeah, there's some things that I wouldn't mind being able to do that I can't do when you're dealing with a Necromancer Minion build, which is why I save weapons and stuff like that for like the Blood Necromancer and stuff like that and the other ones. But this build in particular better suits my playstyle and how I like to go about doing things, and I feel like I can clear out mass amounts of enemies very quickly with using this class. And I don't get to see the Barbarian, which I've used Barbarian, I've used Rogue, I've used Demon Hunter, I used them all throughout the other games, and I just always found the Necromancer to be the best for me. But other people, to each their own, man. You know, and if you want to sit there and throw shade on me for using the Necromancer, so be it. But just understand something. If you're someone new to this franchise, don't come hollering at me about damn anything. Because honestly, dude, I'm not tired of seeing those little things on the... There's one enemy remaining, and I was right down there by him. Sorry, I'm getting into this conversation. But a lot of new people in this franchise, don't come talking to me or trying to give me advice or try to talk to me about anything about this game when I come from when the game first come out, dude. I've been playing this game for years, and a lot of y'all are damn, you know, just like those you could tell the ones that are the Call of Duty players because they complain about the game. You know, I play Call of Duty. I only have two games that I play on my PlayStation 4. And the other ones are VR games for my wife and kids to play. But to make my internet better and everything like that, I only run the games that I'm playing right now. And I have 5 gigabytes of space on my PlayStation. So, you know, I'm not hurting for space on my PlayStation, but I am trying to optimize for the best internet upload and download speed I can get, which I'm currently running at like 6 point something, and that's upload speed. Download speed's like 200 and something. So, you know, I went through and optimized my PlayStation last night, because if I'm going to get into making these again, which, you know, there might be periods of time where I'm not streaming at all. I have a wife, I have kids, I have priorities, but I do like to do it when I find a game that I'm willing to share my knowledge on. This is one of them. With as long as I've been playing this game, I can give you some knowledge. And if my channel picks up, I've used all the other characters, man. I know how to build those characters too. But I won't go through all that tedious crap you have to do unless I feel like it, or I'm bored and I want to just run through a new class, or, you know, a different type of Necromancer. I'm not going to do all that unless I get enough people asking for it, dude. You want the build, I can sure enough show you from level 1 all the way up until I get that character to the highest level it's at, like I am with this one. You know, I'm level 62. It has to... Whenever... I didn't even start playing the game until about a week after it came out, and I had it pre-ordered. That's what I'm saying. I'm a parent, but I'm a parent that loves playing video games. Same as my dad. Same as my grandfather. My grandfather played Nintendo every weekend. He'd play Mario 3, and then when he figured out they had a Super Nintendo, that man was going to town on stuff like NBA Jam. My grandfather, God rest his soul, could whoop the crap out of people on NBA Jam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come from, I guess it'd be 3 generations now of video game players, and, I enjoy them. I find them to be better than TV. I like to interact with everything, so, that's why I do it. And as you can tell, I'm a talking ass individual. So, don't be scared to drop a comment down and ask a question about it. Or, even if you want to throw some hate, be my guest. But just know, your little internet drama or online drama or bullying or whatever they call it these days, don't bother me, dude. I grew up in the fucking back end of the 80s, early 90s. I fucking come from when people didn't give a shit to call someone a retard. They weren't thinking about their feelings the entire time and all this crap that they do now. I come from that old school, still what do they call them, Gen X and crap. Like, my parents were, they're a little older than that, but either way, like, dude, I don't care. Hate. Throw some hate. I don't care. You're not going to bother me. It don't bother me one damn bit. And I ain't with that psychobabble bullshit where someone says, oh, he's saying that because it does bother him. No, it really doesn't fucking bother me. I've been to fucking prison, in which, I know people don't usually say that crap, but, dude, there's not much that you can say to me that hasn't already been said or done. Well, see, this is my corp explosion right now. Like, I love this. I want to show y'all a little something. We're about to get into the build now that, nope, we haven't finished. Let me finish this dungeon, and then I'll show you the skills, the weapons, the Book of the Dead, and we'll go into that last, once you hit 50, you get a different thing, different skill tree to tinker around with. And honestly, dude, like, that one right there is mainly same as everything else, pairing it for what you're dealing with at the time, what skills you have and what you need, willpower, all that stuff. That stuff right there is what that skill tree is particularly used for, jacking that up, which is how you end up getting like thousands of attack points and everything like that. But that one right there is not, like, the skills, your skills like Corp Explosion and the Reap and the Server, those ones right there. I had someone ask me the other day, well, what do you use on tier level 3 and shit like, look, man, the skills don't change unless you're changing how you want to play the game, dude. It doesn't, the skills don't change just because you change world tier. You know what I mean? They're all the same. You don't expect a gun on Call of Duty to shoot the same as one of the other ones, do you? I mean, I don't know really how to break that down, but basically, man, like, the skills don't change. Some of the stupid fucking questions I see on these communities, I really just want to lay into the people, but, I like to think about other people and try not to be a dick if I don't have to. I will pull that card if need be. But as I said, we're getting out of what we're really on here for, and that is to find Butcher, and his ass is going to get it if I run into him again. And with Butcher, if you're searching for him in the dungeons, the best way to find him is to check every nook and cranny in said dungeon that you're in, because he does show up in dungeons frequently. I have fought him, it's 9 times now. He's beat me 4. I've beaten him 5, and I haven't beat him yet on World Tier 3, but this is what we're on the hunt for, is to beat him on World Tier 3. So, let's hope we can get that on my live stream, me beating the crap out of Butcher. But he is a powerful foe that can do mass amounts of damage and stun you and everything very quickly. It is best, in my opinion, if you're using a Necromancer class or you're using any class, really, dude, you don't get up on him and go to town and go to work on him. Unless you know you're going to end him quick, which it's hard to know if you're going to end him quick, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is a challenging boss for sure. And he was a challenging boss when he came up on the scene in number 2. But he really is a challenging boss in this one, and it's not a storyline boss either like he was in number 2. He's a rando boss that pops up on you. He's a dungeon boss, you know what I'm saying? I also fought the world boss twice, and that was a learning experience in and of itself. No wonder you have to have a group of people that come and help you with that one, because you're not taking them down that quick. Shit, that coffee is strong, son. Now, if y'all are catching my accent, yes, I am a Tennessee mountain boy. And I have a very thick southern accent. Even people from the south, even people from down here who live in the same area as me and grew up in the same area as me say I have a very thick country accent. And I know I do. I love it. I'm not putting on a show. This is exactly my voice. So, you know, breathe it in. Come here, Gollum, take him down. Oh, you missed the one I wanted you to take down. Either way, doesn't matter. Yeah, you fucker. He likes bouncing around a lot. Without my barrier. Here we go. This is where it shines. That's the vulnerable damage that I'm going to be talking to y'all about. You see that purple little highlighted part on his health bar? When that shows, his health is it drains very quickly. Some people don't know what vulnerable damage is, so that's why I'm explaining it. Some people are not like me and has been playing the game long enough to know what the different damages are and the different, you know, ways of pairing skills and whatnot. Some people don't know how to do that, and that's okay, man. But just understand, there's no simple answer to building a class in this game. There's no way to simplify it. You have to read it if you're playing on your own. And yeah, you can get on a video and they can show you how to build a class. But honestly, man, when you're building one of these classes in this game, it's personalized. And that's what people like about this game. It's a personalized class. Not everybody has to run the same thing to be good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally can have a person running Minion Necromancer and have other skills and other things oh shit, I keep on aspects, sorry. It's changed. I think, if I remember correctly, which don't quote me on this 100%, that it used to be called attributes and not aspects, but I could be wrong. But I keep wanting to say attributes for some reason. But the aspects of the armor paired with other skills, even other skills than what I have down there. A minion class, you know, you're going to get two of your skill slots down there. And that's, yeah, hold on. Yeah, no, I don't want to move. I want to stay right here because I know there ain't nothing coming my way. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Okay. These two, if you're running a minion class, are mandatory. They are going to go down there in your skill slot, and that's so you can raise the skeletons and use your golem's little special skill and stuff like that. Okay, so those are going to be mandatory. Those are going to come. And these other ones, man, like, some people like using this and Iron Maiden, which I did at first, but as I went on into the higher levels, the corpse explosion really helps with the crowd control, and especially when it's attached to the unique gloves that I have with the aspect of the volatile skeleton running and doing explosion damage with the darkness damage done over time. But yeah, dude, this is what you have to understand, that you running a Necromancer class minion base, you're gonna already have 2 of your skill slots occupied by your minions. So anyways, we're going to jump right into this, and I'm going to go ahead and get through the build part of this video. I did a demonstration on how it works. This is the build part, okay? And I'm going to check on my phone real quick and see where we're at in the timeline on this video. Hold on one second.
See where we're at.
As you can hear me. We're about 20 minutes in, okay? So we're about 20 minutes in for the build, and you're going to hear this 20 minutes in, but I'll try to leave a comment on there if I can remember. This is the build part for the Necromancer, my particular build. Now, you can use it if it complements your playstyle, but there's others. There's the Bone Necromancer, there's the Blood Necromancer, there's the Storm Necromancer. You know, list goes on and on. Okay, so here we go. Well, there is no Storm Necromancer. It's a skill that comes with it. But either way, I start off with your basic core skill. You know, the first skill you're going to unlock. Mine, preferably, is it's not decompose. It's not hemorrhage. It's not bone splinter. It is, in fact, the oh shit, sorry, it's the reap. Just your standard core skill, swinging your blade or whatever. But I prefer it. You know, it helps with certain aspects and gains attack speed, whatnot. But this part right here of the skill, the the add-on to it, that's non-negotiable. You're going to hit that one if you want to go up to here. Use this one. Read if you like. I'm not going to read all these, dude. I read to myself in my head. I'm not going to read out loud to y'all. If you don't know how to fucking read, then I don't even know why the hell you're even playing this game. No offense, not trying to be rude, but this game is math. You know that game you used to play where you matched cards up, the cards, like if it was a goldfish, you went and found the goldfish. Basically, it's the same fucking thing. You're just matching everything up, and you're making sure everything's coexisting in your character together and running smoothly, feng shui like. You know what I'm saying? Everything's running like a string, straight through, working together. Here we go. Now you read that, I'm sure. If you haven't and you didn't read any of that stuff and you didn't take the time, hit the pause button, and we're moving on to this server. This sends a little skeleton Grim Reaper out that does a circle. Now, it'll do one throw and one spin when you first unlock it. And as you go on, which I don't even have to go down to these skills. If you look, the modifiers are these are modifiers, and they're down here. If you can read and you can match it up to which one you're using, which it shouldn't be hard. There's only 2 modifiers, and one modifier is unavoidable. But I go for this modifier. This one, every 4th server makes an enemy vulnerable for 2 seconds, which this class I built if you notice the boss and all these other ones, I have made that purple little coating on the enemy's health bar. That's vulnerable damage. That one right there in particular, if you're running a minion class or you're running any class of Necromancer, the vulnerable damage with the powerful attacks that this guy has you can destroy almost anything in your path. Even the Butcher. I had no issues with the Butcher until I hit World 3. He is a mean-ass individual, and that's why we're on the hunt for him, because he made me look like an idiot twice yesterday. But moving on. Corpse Explosion. I love Corpse Explosion. As you can tell, it's one of my go-tos. It doesn't drain your essence or anything like that. You can send it out as long as you're dropping, you know, the bloody shit on the floor, which is the corpses, which an enemy can produce like 2 corpses, or even more. You know, it's just the chunks of skin that drop off of them. That's what makes the Necromancer run. So, Corpse Explosion. I jack it all the way up because it is a very handy tool in a mob of enemies. The first modifier, as I've said, is unavoidable. The second modifier I use is the shadow damage, which we tried. This one, no dice, didn't like it, wasn't fond of it. Prefer this one, especially with the attribute from my gloves that sends a volatile skeleton out, and my Corpse Explosion doesn't explode unless it hits an enemy. So therefore I know the Corpse Explosion is always going to hit an enemy because it sends out another skeleton with it, and he runs around and explodes on impact, and then wherever he explodes, the darkness skill, it blows up, and then that darkness is right there underneath the enemy's feet. Anyways, moving on. This is a must-have for all 3 of your minion classes. There's 3 minion classes. There's Warrior, there's Mage, and then there's Golem. In each one of those, in the Book of the Dead right up there, when you hit start and it brings up your armor and all that stuff, you hit the button to go over, and that next one over from that character up there is the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead, and I've noticed this, a lot of people don't know how to change their minions and their skeleton. I call them minions. Some people don't think that I'm saying something crazy, but that's what this is. That's what they are. This is terminology that has been used for years in this game. They are minions that I call on to do my bidding. Anyways, moving on. Make sure those are always increased because they increase the damage and the life of your minions. And you'll notice if you're not doing that and jacking them up and just trying to jack up your other skills and then still trying to use the minions, all you're doing is sending them out to be cannon fodder, because that's all they're going to be if you don't give them some help. Moving on. And plus, weapons and stuff like that will grant your minions certain aspects and certain traits and certain upgrades. And that's why I say you always have to read what you're putting on your character. You can't just slap a bunch of shit on and hope to God you make it through this game. This game is unforgiving to people who are not willing to read and take the time to understand. That's why these videos are so long. And most videos that are builds in this game, you can't sum this shit up that quick, man. You can't even sum this game up that quick. This game has a lot of crap in it, just like all the other ones. Moving on, that was the Mage. Jack them up. Shadow damage, these right here, I jack up because I have 2 shadow damage skills on here, and I want to make sure my shadow damage is doing a lot of work as I'm using it. So those right there in particular, you'll see them off to, well, the way my TV's sitting, it's on the left, and if you're staring at the screen, it should be on the left. For whatever reason, if it's on the right, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, this one right here, y'all see there's skill points on it. Don't pay attention to it. I didn't put them there. It is something to do with the armor and the little white writing, not the aspect. Some of the white writing above the aspect of a legendary armor can add certain points to your skill if you didn't know that, and give you skills. And if you want to go that route and use that skill, then you'll use less of your skill points in upgrading it. But then again, you can't always find, you have to hunt for armor that in particular helps with your skill. This game right here, like I said, is a grind house. This grind house is never ending, and it goes even harder as you go on. If you're going to World Tier 2, just go ahead and skip that whole part and go to the dungeon and go ahead and skip to World Tier 3, because not only, because I noticed today, I read something on one of these Diablo 4 communities. Some guy said it literally takes him 6 hours, and he's level 80. It takes him 6 hours to level up. Look, man, if it's taking you that long to level up, get off Tier 1 and come join all the people who know what they're doing and know how to play this game and like and enjoy this game. Go ahead and move your ass up to World Tier 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? You want to be in the higher levels because you will level up quicker, get better armor, get better weapons, get better aspects, everything. This game is not for short-term play. It was made, the first one, it's all about replay value, man. Consistently playing it. If you're not into RPGs and the grind fest that they are, don't fucking play this game. This ain't Call of Duty, man. You know what I'm saying? Even Call of Duty's a fucking grind house. It's so repetitive. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I have Modern Warfare 2, and I'm not one of them guys that hates on it even after buying it. It's a good game. I like Call of Duty. I've always liked Call of Duty ever since it came out, and it wasn't no online play to be involved in it. I come from the days of GoldenEye and, you know, Medal of Honor and shit. So, you know, I love war games. I love first-person shooter. I love the multiplayer modes. I grew up on that stuff. Anyways, moving on. Golem Mastery, giving him damage and life. Always do that for your minions if you're running the class. This one, Army of the Dead. I love this one. If you look down at the modifiers, the first modifier is going to be a volatile skeleton explodes, like the one that I use when I use corpse explosion. A volatile skeleton explodes on impact, whatever, blah blah blah. 15% chance. Keep reading. It also, if you're sitting there fighting a boss and he just so happens to swipe all your damn minions out, or a mass amount of your minions, look, man, he's going to come after you once them minions are gone and they're not doing what you set them up to do. So you want to be able to get a bunch of minions out quick. This skill right here, all I got to do is hit square when I'm in a bind, as long as it's not cooling down. Hit square in a bind, I get explosive damage, and I get to raise my skeletons. So, moving on. This goes hand in hand with my minions, so I always make sure to give my minions just as much attention to detail as my character himself. Your minions will die very quickly if you do not give them some help, and it's color coded for the minions. This is the sacrifice version of it, where you go to the very end of the Book of the Dead. I'll go ahead and show you. I don't know if I have yet. I use this one, but this one right here helps. I mean, that's what a sacrifice is. You give up the ability to raise your minions, and you take on higher damage rates for yourself. Which, you know, I run that sometimes too. Especially there was that three-headed dog battle in the story mode, and if you haven't played that yet, you know, stop right here because I'm ruining it for you. But him, I had to give up my minions because when you're fighting him, there's not a whole lot of extra enemies to gather your corpses off of, so I had to give that up and fight him with the sacrifices, which he was the hardest boss to me. Anyways, yeah, so Shadow, I don't remember where I left off. The minions, giving the minions everything they need to survive past one blow. This right here, another thing that's good. See, with the minions and their skills that help them out and aspects that help them out can, you know, help with them and their particular skill, because they have a skill as well. Just like, okay, so we're done with the skill tree, the first skill tree. There's a second one. I'll get to that after the Book of the Dead. But as you can see, man, I hope I went slow enough for everybody, but those are the skills I use. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Book of the Dead now. And I've seen a lot of newcomers like, how do you change your skeletons and whatnot? Man, again, someone who's played this game for a very long time, you have to be joking when you say, how do you change your skeleton? Why are you know, that frustrates me when people ask stupid questions, not to the point to where I just have to blow up on them, but I have to stop and say, hey man, are you reading? Are you actually paying attention to what you're doing? Or are you just hoping, like Call of Duty, it tells you what's unlocked and tells you things? You have to go hunt. This game is an RPG game. You have to learn. You ever played fucking Skyrim? You know, same fucking thing. You didn't go out there and just start. You had to learn how to play it, man. You had to learn how to do things. I don't know why I went to Skyrim. It's probably because, you know, the time, the age in which, you know, Iron Age and shit like that, swords, shields, whatnot. That's probably why I put two and two together. But anyways, moving on. Reapers, they are the last box on your Skeleton Warrior Book of the Dead, and I go to the second dot on their box because, as it says right here, you have a 15% chance to drop or to carve flesh off your enemy, which is what the Necromancer runs off of, is corpses formed from the flesh. So there's that one. Skeleton mages. Iron Golem. And I'm going to say this, maybe you should try using the other ones like this one, you know, try a different golem like the blood one or the bone one, but, you know, it's like I said, something you have to pair up with the weapons and the aspects and everything like that. Everything is a pair up, and everything is something you have to read to make sure it is coexisting with the other parts of your aspects and skills, and it's coexisting together to form a badass character. I said I was going to give y'all this, but pretty much, man, this is pretty much self-explanatory. You just start unlocking them, and you know, you get to these, make sure you got, you know, make sure you got the requirements, and you can hit, like, say it says 160, you can hit that. But generally, for me, it didn't unlock until I hit over 160. So, you know, I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's different for other folks, but it wasn't for me. I hit 160, and it was still saying it wasn't unlocked until after I went over 160. So, there's that. These things right here, you know, Skeleton Warriors damage, 21.4. Skeleton Warrior gains 20% increased armor. As I said, you want to always add to your skeletons if you're running a minion class. You want to add to your golem. You want to add to your mages. You want to make sure that these things can go toe to toe with all the enemies and actually take more than one out, because once you get crowded up, you're going to want as many minions strong and tough as you can get, so you can create that little circle around you. Anyways, that's done. Just do that, man. Read these. Go along and do these. I'm almost done with this whole thing, man. This whole part of this. So, I can't remember if I've done the weapons, but I'm going to run through them real quick, let you read them one more time. I did on that last one that you couldn't hear me on, which is fucking crazy. I don't know what happened. Moving on. Moving on. This is the unique armor that I kept talking about with the corpse explosion that sends a volatile skeleton out. Oh my god. As soon as this dropped and I saw that aspect, I fell in love. And I've gotten it twice already. This is the second one. Or this is the first one. I got rid of the second one. as I said, a lot of setups are going to be different than other folks. You can use different skills. You can use Iron Maiden. You can use other things. You can even set up a whole other kind of Necromancer. Blood, bone. Me personally, the Minions ones works best for me. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. One thing I'd like to add, I think I've added it in another video before, but that circle, that white text there right up underneath Fortified Generation, that one right there I added, but I hit the no change, so it didn't change it out for one of these other ones. It just added that to it. Now I want to say this: once you do that particular thing and you go to the Oculus and you do that, I want you to know that that aspect that comes with that particular armor or jewelry or amulet or sword, it cannot be broken down and used for parts and aspects after you add that. So be sure you're willing to part ways, or at least have a backup for that aspect and you have double of it. Make sure you do that before you start slapping that on there. And if you don't even know how to do that, then don't worry about it. But the Oculus, you know, go watch a guide video on how to use the Oculus, or I can make one for you. Doesn't matter. Moving on. This one right here is not good. This I might end up changing this, but then again, it comes in handy, especially for sending out my server as long as I'm crowded. And most of the time, you're going to be crowded, especially when you get into the higher tiers. You're always going to be crowded, except for when the live stream yesterday when we went hunting for Butcher, like we're about to do after I'm done explaining all this, which I'm going to try to make sure every once in a while I show the build and show the armor and stuff I have on, so that way people who are new to the channel, new to the view, you know, are viewing, they don't have to go back and watch everything. They can pick it up from where I'm going off of. Anyways, moving on from that one. As I said, that little blue circle is an add-on, and these aspects are now straight up stuck to this one. It's stuck. The only thing I can do is sell it. So, we got all that. We went through all that. Alright. Now, I don't know if I promised y'all anything else at this current second other than to go hunt Butcher down. So here we go, dude. Sorry it took so long to get to this point in the live stream, but I believe I've already said this. This game, there is no simple answers. There is no simple setup. It's all tedious. Reading, pairing, all that. If you're not reading, or you don't know how to read, or whatever the situation may be in your reading skills, damn it, if you're going to play this game, know that you're going to have to read it, or you need to find a live streamer who is sitting there reading it all for you. I'm not going to, but it all should be something you should be able to pick up. I personally have, like I said, I've played this game for a long time now, so it's kind of comes natural. You'll catch me in my live streams reading the certain armor and stuff like that, and seeing what benefits, and if I want to get rid of one armor and say it's got a higher armor, like say look, I don't know, sorry, I'm a little bit wore out, but like on the whatchamacallit, on the weapons, the attack damage, okay? So the armor, the number on the armor for how much armor it gives you. Okay, I want to say this. Just because a weapon, like a sword, has a high damage rate does not fucking mean you're going to get anywhere with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because it has a higher damage rate doesn't mean jack nor shit. Don't just go moving on because it's got a higher one and replace it for the one that you're using. Because I'm going to tell you this, the aspects might not be the same. The traits that it brings with it might not be the same. You know, you got to make sure that you're pairing everything together. Because if you're not pairing everything together and making sure everything is coexisting on your character and living in harmony, you don't need to go ahead and start changing it unless you can make sure that it, in fact, coexists with everything else. The damage number means jack nor shit.
Not while I'm in town.
Sorry I hit mute, y'all. My stepson came in from school. I forgot where I was at in the conversation, but we're on our hunt now for the butcher to get our revenge on him for yesterday. Looking to beat him for the first time on World Tier 3. Sometimes you don't even need to replenish your skeletons just to use the Army of the Dead. Sometimes you just want that exploding skeletons to pop out everywhere. As I said, man, I use Corpse Explosion like it's going out of style since my Reapers can replenish that produces so much of that they produce all those corpses and stuff. I want them to continue to produce those corpses, so we want to make sure those guys are always on the field at all times, or the Corpse Explosion really ain't going to be as powerful as what it is. It's powerful because I have all those Reapers dropping the corpses everywhere, so I'm able to send it out. Keep sending it out. We made it here just in time. I'm gonna go mute y'all. I'm eating.
I need more time.
Sometimes I can't even see where I'm sending the corpse explosion. I just let it go out because I know it's going to hit something. It's like a heat-seeking missile. It goes after them. Go mute again, guys, and put some more chips in my mouth.
I'm not ready yet.
You can barely tell what's going on in these events sometimes. There's so many people doing everything.
I'm not ready yet.
Hey y'all, I'm probably gonna hop off here after this dungeon. If we don't run into Butcher in this one, best believe I'll be on a little bit later and try again. But as a parent, I got shit to do. But I do enjoy making these videos, and if it helps anybody, cool. That's good. I'm glad. I mean, if you just enjoy getting on a live stream, talking, you know, shooting the shit, meeting new people or whatever, come on down, man. Drop a comment, hit the like and subscribe. Be very much appreciated. And if my channel starts taking off at some point, maybe I'll start handing out things, you know, on a monthly basis, free games, gift cards, whatnot. But I have 17 subscribers so far. I would love it to hit at least, I don't know, 50. I would feel accomplished. I got the 17 through my Call of Duty clips, which, you know, Call of Duty is it's a hard live stream to get into. But I do want to say this: there is a YouTuber out there. His name's Hero. I don't know if, but this guy right here has some seriously sick builds for your guns, and you know he shows you the optimized weapon tuning and everything, so you get the most out of your guns. But that's who I follow for all my loadouts. But I'm sure there's other ones out there, but he in particular, I like him. I like how he does it. I like how he shows everything that's going on. He's sitting there talking the whole time. He's not just sitting there, you know, telling you what you need to know and then shutting up, you know. But it's Hero, so like if you were looking for, say the ISO 45, type in, you know, best build for the ISO 45, and then put Hero after you type all that in, and he should pop up. He don't endorse me. I don't know the guy from Adam, but I like how he does his videos, and his builds are actually pretty decent. Excuse me for eating, guys. Didn't get to eat today. So this dungeon right here is going to be the last one for now on this live video. You know, I burnt up a little time trying to explain the build and whatnot. But I am on the lookout for the Butcher. That is the purpose of most of these videos so far, is to find Butcher, which he's from what I can tell, the most talked about boss in this one. Which, if you have never played 2, go play 2 and then tell me he's hard. He's hard in this one, no lie, but he was hard in that one too. You know what I'm saying? He's a mean ass boss. I hope y'all like the build, and if you do like it and you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, ask a question. I'll be happy to answer it if I can, which I don't see why I shouldn't with as long as I've been playing this game. So, you know, any questions at all, period, I'd be more than happy to answer for you. See, I told y'all that corpse explosion is my go-to, dude. I love it. It is my most used skill, especially now with the volatile skeletons attached to it. You keep fucking with me, man. You want to keep messing with me? Fine. Put the wrath of God on you. Boom.
Oh man, we're gonna run low on that. Oh, what the hell? Ooh, cool. We're gonna have to run back to town here in a minute so I can make sure I can pick up whatever I need to pick up from this. The dungeon running. Now, I witnessed a post earlier today about somebody saying how, you know, they're new to the game and they keep going in dungeons and they keep dying and they don't really know how to deal with it. Look, man, if you're to the point where you started the game and you're already having to pay thousands of gold coins to repair your armor, I'm gonna tell you this. Not only do you need to step back and make sure all your skills and your weapons are, like I say, coexisting together, do that, or just restart the game over and try it from scratch. Because this guy had no idea how to follow the main story mode, which it's the yellow icons. Those are the main story. So make sure you're going to the yellow ones. And some of the yellow, if I remember correctly through the story, which I don't know, they might fix this, they might not. But they didn't pop up until I went to the region to find them. But I could be wrong. I could be mistaken. But I thought that's how it went. But if it doesn't, that's all good. If that's not how it went, I apologize. But I do remember that. Which... it can be, this game can be a lot to take in, man, you know, and it's not very, it is a new, you know, it's new players friendly for the most part, as long as you're willing to read and take the time to understand the game. This ain't Call of Duty. You ain't just going to jump in, pick a good build offline and look them up and see how to do it. And, you know, just automatically go to town on these folks. I'm about to lose every one of these. Survivorship. Lost everyone. Doesn't matter. Keep going. But, if you're not going to take the time to learn this game and actually read and, you know, try to comprehend things, this game's not going to be any fun to you. And if you don't like grindhouse, same shit over and over and over again, and you don't like it in mass quantities, this game is not for you. Walk away. Because I can assure you one thing. This game is nothing but running through hordes of enemies in areas that almost look identical except for the geographic location. You know, that might change. You might be in a cave, or you might go down in a dungeon and it's an open forest area. You know, that's about the change you're going to get from this game. Most times when you go in a dungeon, there's the end boss or the big boss at the end of the dungeon. It doesn't change often. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much stay the same. Or they rotate between which dungeon you're going in, and you might face the Tomb Master one on one, and then you might face what's another one? You know, what's that one? I forget. I can't pronounce the name of it, but he's the boss that walks around the PvP territory, the Fields of Hatred. He comes in a lot of dungeons too, but he's not as juiced up as he is in those in the PvP area. He's juiced up in that one, which understandably so. They don't want you killing them real quick and then dipping off, and if there are other players out there looking to kill you, they're going to take that. They're going to take all them shards from you if they kill you. Hell Tides. Those events. If you hit to where you can get to the Hell Tide, which is in World Tier 3, World Tier 3 is going to give you a lot more playable options for finding loot, farming materials, and stuff like that. Yes, the enemies are going to be tougher, but guess what they do? They dish out so much more XP, and leveling up is literally as easy as pie as long as you're dungeon running, which by the time you get to the point to where you're in World Tier 3, you should be at a respectable level where you can hold your own. I don't like moving up into different world tiers until I feel comfortable that I have fully mastered the world tier that I'm on, which can take a little bit of time, but then again, this game is nothing but time. Like I said, if you're looking for short answers and looking for a fast, answer for, say, how to deal with Butcher or how to build a class, I am sad to tell you that there is no quick answer to the build. There's no quick way to figure out how to beat a boss, and it all can change in the drop of a dime, especially when you go to higher world tiers. Like I was saying, when I was the 5 times I came across Butcher before World Tier 3, which he beat me twice before World Tier 3. So that was his 2 before this one, the 2 that he just got on me, and the reason why I'm hunting him, and I'll stay hunting him until I beat him in World Tier 3. But the reason that, shit, I lost where I was at. I'm tired, guys. I didn't have a lot of sleep last night. And, oh, boy howdy. Did y'all see that? I saw that. Yeah, you got mad about that one, didn't you? Anyways, but Butcher, man, he's the one I'm after. He killed me twice. The 2 times that I have ran into him on World Tier 3, that's what I was at. He's beat me twice. And I haven't ran into him for a 3rd time. The 2nd time I ran to him is on the live stream, one of the live streams from yesterday, which there's like 3 or 4 of them from yesterday that are like hours long, and that's how long it took me to find him. Plus, I'm not one to just stay on task in this game. If you don't mix it up and go do other things instead of just trying to follow him and try to find him, it's going to get tedious and boring quick. You notice I've been using the word tedious a lot about this game. It's not because I find tedious to be some kind of higher intelligent people's word, or trying to sound smarter or anything like that. I know that just sounded stupid. Like I said, I'm a country mountain boy, man. Grammar is not my strong suit, but I can keep up with most conversations. I know what the words mean. I know how to pronounce them. Blase, blase. That's not why you're here. Either way, this game is tedious. If you don't know what tedious means, go look it up. Basically, it's basically grindhouse. It's a grindhouse, and you got to read, you got to learn everything, and that's what I'm hoping happens by me just sitting here shooting the shit with y'all on these live, that some of these newer players, they actually learn how to do this stuff. It's not a hard game to learn. Once you get the basics down about how to pair your items and your skills, and you find the class that you feel comfortable with. If you've never played Diablo 4 before, don't just go off of somebody saying this is the best class. There is no, in my eyes, as long as I've been a player of this franchise, there is no way of saying this one's better or that one's better. All that shit's just fucking opinion. And don't try to give me statistics or anything like that, because I can shit out a Necromancer that's dumping on a Barbarian. I can shit out a Barbarian that's dumping on a fucking Rogue. I could do that if I wanted to, but I'm a Necromancer kind of guy. I like my Necromancer, talk all the shit you want, but at least I can hold my own in a group of enemies without having to worry about, them being surrounding me and shit like that. Barbarians, dude, they go crazy. Yeah, they're good as long as you know what you're doing with it. And it's a pretty easy character to get into and use, and the weapons is all fun because you get I think it's 4 weapons. Two or 4 weapons, I can't remember. But you get all those weapons to do all the damage, and yeah, he can do a shitload of damage all at one time. Let me tell you right now, I've used Barbarian. I think that was the very first character I used. They are vulnerable to incoming attack, but they put out a fuckload of attack power. I'm not dumping on any individual character. I'm not dumping on any individual build. To each their own. This is mine. Talk shit if you want. But if you watched my video, my live video
just now, my live stream, whatever you want to call it, it is proven that I know what I'm doing. I'm on world tier 3, which I know is not like holy shit ungodly, but I know quite a few of these people on these groups that can't even fucking get with tier level 1. Let alone do you need to be talking shit to me who's running on tier level 3 and working his way up to 4 and can hang with the entire crowd of the demonic hordes coming my way. You know, some of you people can't even get out the fucking story. You can't even get out of the story mode. So don't talk shit if you ain't no good and you can't back it up. And backing it up is proof. Proof is stuff like this, live streams showing that, you know, I can go out there and I can do what I need to do, come back home, dump off all my loot, and fucking scoot back out again. But anyways, like I said, I'm getting off here. We checked 2 dungeons out. We did a few little things, and again, I've showed y'all the build. But my parental duties are calling me, so I hope y'all have an awesome, I believe it's Wednesday. Y'all have an awesome Wednesday, and please like and subscribe. And as always, man, I'll holler at y'all later. Wish everybody the best. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.